Do you believe the 2027 elections will be competitive? Or is just a fait accompli?
No, I think it will be competitive.
Okay.
With or without the amendment. In fact, if just yesterday I made a comment on social media because I heard in the northern part of the country a lot of people who are saying unless the INEC chairman is removed, unless they do the Electoral Act the way it's supposed to do, the Muslim community should not vote. Boycott the election, leave it for them. And I made a comment and I said that is very wrong and it's very dangerous. Because if you boycott an election, that's the best thing you can do to the person who caused you to boycott it. You just hand them over the next government. Exactly. Because an election is not invalidated because somebody has boycotted it. On the contrary, what you need to do is to encourage people to register and vote in millions and millions and millions. And I think that is going to happen.
Brilliant. Brilliant. If the opposition leaders, if they are going to see this and they call you, sit you down and say, okay, we need your advice, what do we do?
I would say to them, jettison all the traditional ways of looking at it.
Okay.
Yes. The challenge ahead of us is so extraordinary, so demanding, that it demands that all of us should assess our commitment to the country, not our commitment to our own interests, and adopt a position of give and take. We can't fix this country overnight. We can't change this country, the thinking, the tendencies, we can't. But we can begin in 2027. The only way you can begin in 2027 is if you win the election. And you can win this election, but you have to do a number of things, including your egos and your ambitions. You have to put them aside. That's what I would say to them.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Is President Tinubu, in almost 3 years, has it strengthened or weakened democracy by his actions and, policies and decision making? And also, the use of, emergency tool, weapon in River State, these anti-corruption agencies, looming over these governors as a threat, because that's why some of them are decamping. But overall, has this weakened or strengthened democratic culture in our country?
I'm sorry to say that. I think he has tremendously weakened the democratic process. And given his pedigree, his background, honestly, I would have thought this is a man who would come into this country and reinvent the democratic process, especially when he's taken over President Buhari. He has turned power into, I think he's about the most powerful president I've seen. And I've been in the federal government in one way or the other since, I think, 1993 or 94. I've worked with 6, 7, 8 presidents. This is the most powerful, this is the president who has amassed more power around him than anybody else. That's not a very good thing for a democratic process. This is a president who has shown that there's only one way to get power, get closer to him. Join his party, become part of his party, and then all else shall be added onto it. That's a very dangerous thing. Because you now kill the everything else that is not around you. And too much power, whether you like it or not, whoever you are, too much power breeds arrogance, insensitivity, contempt for opinion of others, and sometimes gross incompetence, because you don't have anybody to tell you what you're doing wrong. So I think he has diminished our democracy. We have a chance in 2027 to rekindle it.
Flowing from your last point, what has been the impact of President Tinubu's style, and not even beyond style, actual actions? What has been the impact of this on the justice system in Nigeria, the role of the judiciary as an impartial arbiter?
I am very reluctant to talk about judiciary because I want to be fair to them. If there are shortfalls about the judiciary, we don't see it openly. And if they have done well, it's difficult to judge. But I can tell you, the executive arm of government, in one way or the other, impacts on the other arms of government very badly. if you have a bad president, he impacts tremendously on all. The legislature has been particularly disappointing, spectacularly disappointing. I've never seen a legislature that has been so happy to exist in the pocket of the executive like this one. And that is really sad, because I know a few of them who used to be really good people. I don't know where they are, what they're doing, but I doubt if they believe that they will come back in 2027 because Nigerians watch. Yeah. And if you give them half a chance, they will throw them out. The judiciary, I don't know, but I'm hoping the judiciary decides 80% of all electoral cases.
Absolutely.
It's my desperate hope that we still have some judicial officers with some level of integrity. Because if you cheat people at the polling unit, you cheat them at the declaration of result, then you cheat them in the courts. Then they take the law into their own hands.
I know you don't like to hear this, but I have to say it. If former Vice President Atiku Abubakar wins the ADC primaries, what would be your advice to him on his pathway to defeating President Tinubu?
I would say, first of all, get back all those people you defeated.
Okay.
Mend fences, and go out and tell Nigerians what you do different from Tinubu. Be very clear. What will you do about insecurity? What would you do about poverty levels? What would you do about reintegrating this country and turning it into one? What would you do to young Nigerians to give them hope that they will grow up in a country that they believe in and respect? Say it now. Even if it's on a one-page thing, say what ADC stands for. How do you differ from APC? Why are you contesting at this stage? Tell people. Those people who think you are too old or you are too infirm, sir, assure us. Say the good things about yourself. They think you are just trying to be a president. Say why you believe you are the best candidate. That's what I would tell you.
Brilliant. When you resigned from President Tinubu's administration, I think last year, you had said the North will make its position known in 2026. It's second month now into 2026. What's the position of the North concerning next year's election?
And we will make it known.
No, you are the spokesman for the NorthernElders Forum.
No, I used to be the spokesman, but I can speak for the North in my own individual capacity.
Yes.
It's there. And there's a lot of consultations going on. But let me say this. It's not going to be a position for the North in exclusion. The North needs other parts of Nigeria to agree that we need to reopen, we need to turn a new leaf in this country. The North cannot do it alone. It needs other Nigerians. It needs to give and it needs to take. The North needs to come down from its high point. We are the biggest, we are the strongest.
About the votes, that's what some Northerners are saying.
Yes, but your votes, I cannot just secure the presidency. Yeah. It's not enough.
You still need a handshake.
We need alliances. We need to build bridges with the rest of the country. So this is going to be part of the requirements in these discussions we're having. We need alliances. We need to build that. Everybody is in trouble. It's not just the North. Everybody is in trouble, and no part of the country can win this election alone.
No. You're a devout Muslim. You know, I told you on the phone. You're one of the people some of us look up to. And I know you're a very straightforward man. Has President Tinubu done enough on sheer evidence in terms of insecurity, poverty level? Okay, the argument is that he has done reforms, and reforms usually come with birth pangs. Has he done enough to deserve a second term?
As we speak now,
yes.
No.
Okay.
But he still has a year.
Okay. So you think he can actually change?
Well, if he wants to come back in a free and fair election, he should do a lot more than he has done in the past.
Brilliant. Last question, Doctor. I told you earlier that I'm a die-hard pan-Nigerian. At some point in my life, if I was asked to bring a benefactor, a father figure, I would have brought a Fulani man from Adamawa State. He's late now. He passed on during COVID. I have an office, and that office was given to me by a Kanuri man from Borno State. We eat together. No discrimination of any sort. When he needs to pray, I sit down, he prays. When he finishes, he gets up, we'll continue. A brother, we were friends, but then we became brothers. So, but it's gotten to a point now where I'm questioning the Nigerian project, whether it is still tenable. Are you there? Do you share such sentiments? Have you ever thought of giving up on on Nigeria?
No.
What gives you hope about the
It's not
possibility
hope. It's that I don't see an option apart from, and I don't want to contemplate.
There are people who believe strongly that the different cultures and religions cannot mix. We should all go our separate ways.
No, they're wrong. They can, and they must. They only need to look at Sudan, look at Libya, look at some of those countries that.
What about Yugoslavia?
Yeah, many. We must salvage this country as one country. It's in everybody's interest. Nobody will get everything they want. I swear. If Nigeria survives for the next 200 years, you will have grievances. You would have people who say this is not good enough. But we don't have a choice. And the options are frightening. If we want to condemn our children and their children for the next 50 years to fighting each other, to running away from all over the place, because we have different religions, we have different tongues, the best thing you can do to trigger that kind of option is to continue to doubt whether we should survive. We need more and more Nigerians like you and I who believe this country must be saved. It must be saved. There is enough room for all of us. Enough. And that is the honest to God truth. There's enough resources. This is a very rich country. We don't need to fight over crowns. We are basically decent people. You and I can get along until the cows come home. There's no reason why you can't be a Christian and why I shouldn't be a Muslim. There's none. We don't need to fight. But look at how it has become. We're fighting over tiny little issues. When the big issue, but how do we get together and exploit what God has given us underground or above the ground in ourselves? We are some of the most enterprising and intelligent human beings in this country. I don't care who my friend, where he comes from. I would look at the qualities you have and you become my friend. So I hope Nigeria can survive the next decade. I'm praying to God it does. And I hope that our children can have a chance to grow up as Nigerians that would look at each other and see Nigerian first rather than ethnic groups. But we have to work. Complacency and this tendency to think, so what if we break? Everybody thinks a breakup is not a bad thing. Believe me, it is one of the worst things that can happen. Look at South Sudan. This is what they wanted 35 years ago. Look at Libya. Look at Sudan. There are so many countries. They never recover.